こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、リーズユナイテッドの田中碧に関する動画です。リーズユナイテッドは、この冬の移籍市場の中で、田中碧の序列や去就について話すファンが増えています。今回は、比較的田中碧について言及しないリーズファンですが、今回は2時間弱にもわたり、ほぼ田中碧関連にフォーカスした動画を作成しています。今回は、冒頭の数分のみを切り取っています。田中碧は好きだし、自分だったら使うと話し、これだけ使われないのは不公平だとも話しつつ、田中碧は、本当にそれだけ良い選手なのか、と言い、右原点の疑問を投げかけ、自分たちが持ち上げすぎたのかもしれないのではないか、とも話しています。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょう。
We do love you, Leeds. Now then, everybody, I hope you're all doing good. Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. And I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion, debate, little chat, all things Leeds as usual. But I really wanted to touch on AO or Ao TANAKA tonight. Get everyone's thoughts on how you feel he's going to be feeling right now with the amount of minutes he's got, or lack of minutes, should I say. Where you see his long-term future at Leeds. Have we overhyped AO TANAKA? I'm not saying I have. I love the guy. But have we, as a fan base, overhyped him? Is he as good as what a lot of us think he is? Is there a reason why he didn't come over to England or into sort of the bigger leagues early? Is there a reason why? He's 27, almost 28 years of age. He's only had 2 years in England, one of them in Championship. Is there a reason for that? I'd love to know your opinion. Get your comments in the comment section below and we will go through it together, because I'm really intrigued to know if I'm the only one who's a little bit annoyed he isn't getting much game time, but also on the other side of that, as long as we keep winning games, I'm fine with that. Very much an issue, I think, what sort of runs parallel with Farke's time at Leeds. Certain players, some of them are fan favourites, and it is frustrating, but as long as the results are on the pitch and we're winning games, I aren't too bothered. But it is a bit of a bugbear. I had it last season with Ramazani, who at the time I was more bothered Ramazani wasn't playing than I am TANAKA. But it's a great little talking point, I think, to sort of get your guys' opinions on and see how you feel. Let's have a look. West Yorkshire Retro Gamer, how you doing, buddy? How do, Matty? How do you, pal? Hope you're good, mate. Hope you're good. How you doing, Erland? TANAKA is our most technical midfielder and should play way more as Willie. Yeah, this Willie not know too. I want to have it. Basically, the fringe players at the minute who I think are good enough to be Premier League footballers, I think they're going to end up surplus to requirements, although I do think you need them kind of players on the bench. And that elevates our squad, having a TANAKA on bench, having a Nonto on the bench. I think it's fantastic for the squad. But just from a playing point of view, what do you think they're feeling? Because we talk about staying up, then establishing herself and going again and improving the squad year after year. If he isn't getting game time this year, what's to say TANAKA will be in the in Farke's thoughts next season and beyond that? So it's really interesting to see. But I think he's his most technical midfielder. I think our most technical player now probably is Buonanotte. And whether you deem a midfielder and attacker, however you want to sort of deem it in modern football, I'm not too sure. But I do think the addition of Buonanotte probably leans into TANAKA getting less game time as well. Because I really want to touch on the formation. Obviously, we like the 3-5-2. And we may end up playing a 3-5-2 for the majority of the rest of the season if we are to bring in another big striker. Larson obviously is the one we all want, I think, or majority want, and I think the club want. If we're bringing another striker and it's like Larson's caliber and quality, I do think we may have to revert, not have to, but we may revert to the 3-5-2 more often than not. But I think at the minute it's quite liking having DCL up top on his own and having like 3 up top, but 2 of them being wider players and giving Brendan Emerson the license to sort of roam. If that's the case, and we're going to lean into more of a 3-4-3, that only really allows for 2 central midfielders, which will be Stack and Ampadu. And I don't think you can disagree with that with your likes of Gruev, Longstaff and TANAKA on the bench, because I don't think TANAKA's going to dislodge either of them. So if we go with 2 central midfielders, which we may well do with Buonanotte coming in. So it's really interesting. Like I say, he hasn't been getting loads of game time this season anyway, even when we've adopted the 3-man midfield. He's played some games. I think when we've seen him, he's actually played pretty well. I think he's proved he's a Premier League player. Very cheap signing for us. We sort of think Leeds will demand a high price for AO TANAKA if we are in fact to sell him. at any point. On transfer market, they've gone him down at roughly about 10 million euros in value, which I think all Leeds fans will say that's rubbish. But the less minutes he plays, he's not getting the game time to even showcase his talents, to whether forces sort of position into the starting lineup in terms of Farke's eyes, or look at adding some value to his price tag to maybe sell on. But really interested to see what you guys think of this debate tonight. Looking a bit hairy for AO. Especially as Longstaff is back. Yeah, that's how I'm sort of looking at it, mate. I think if you play with a three-man midfield, I think Tanaka's should be in there. You got Stack and Ampad who can be more of the defensive-minded sort of midfielders, and then you'd like to think you'd have Tanaka in there who can pick the ball up and try and create something. If it is a two-man midfield, he's always going to go more defensive. We've even seen him pick Gruev over Tanaka when he has gone free in midfield also, because he likes that solid base. And obviously with Longstaff coming back, there's an argument to say Longstaff was our best player when he first broke into the actual starting 11. There's an argument to say Longstaff was our best player for maybe a month or so. And I'd probably lean into that and say that was probably right. So Longstaff seems to have fallen away with his injury, but maybe he gets back into fold and Tanaka, falls down pecking order even more. Hey, mate. Hey up, Bill. How you doing, buddy? He needs to keep Tanaka at all costs. I'm very concerned he's not playing him. Yeah, Simon, it's a weird one, because I'm concerned too, because I like him and I want him to stay. He's got massive sell-on value. We think, I've had people say he's a £30 million player. Is he though? Is he? This is where I am now, sort of doubting it now. Have we overhyped Tanaka? I'm not saying he is, but I love the guy. I think he's quality. But points on the board are more important than the minutes for your favourite player, I guess. And that's sort of a bit of pill to swallow, isn't it? Because it doesn't really matter who takes a field, side before self. It really, really doesn't matter who plays. When we've bemoaned his decisions before, why not? Why is Aronson starting again? Why is Gruev in there? As long as they win the game or are competitive and get points and stay in the division, his selection's valid then, isn't it? His selection's the right selection if he's picking up points. So, like I say, it's an interesting one.
次は解説です。今回はアクセントや話し方のためにリスニングの難易度は高いですし、翻訳も大変でした。ボキャブラリーや表現はこれまで解説したものが多いですが、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょう。
But it is a bit of a bugbear. I had it last season with Ramazani.
バグベーは悩みの種、ずっと引っかかっている問題という意味の名詞です。サッカーでは選手起用や怪我、補強不足など、ファンが毎回モヤモヤする論点でよく使われます。バグベーというだけで、繰り返し話題になる厄介なテーマというニュアンスが出ます。特に、アビトフをつけると、語気を和らげて、ちょっとした引っかかと言えます。実況やポッドキャストで、同じ不満点が再燃した時に使うと自然です。似た表現にナギニーシュや、オンゴイ MG フロストレーションがあります。ただしバグベーは、少し英語らしい言い回しで、短く刺さるのが強みです。
But it is a bit of a bugbear. I had it last season with Ramazani. But it is a bit of a bugbear. I had it last season with Ramazani. I think they're going to end up surplus to requirements.
Surplus to requirements は、必要な人数や戦力を超えているため、余っているという意味の決まり文句です。サッカーでは、監督の構想やポジション争いの決断、出番が減った選手に対して使われます。戦力外と訳しても近いですが、英語では少し婉曲で、冷静な事務的表現の響きがあります。コメントや切る閉じで、Limits Surplus to Requirements と出たら、放出の方向性が濃いサインです。選手が悪いよりも、枠や構想の都合で余ったというニュアンスがポイントです。移籍ニュースを読むときに覚えておくと、非常に役立つ表現です。
I think they're going to end up surplus to requirements. I think they're going to end up surplus to requirements because I don't think Tanaka's going to dislodge either of them two.
Dislodge は押しのけて外す、地位を奪うという意味の動詞です。サッカーではスタメン争いで誰かを押しのけて自分が入るときによく使われます。田中が2人をディスロッジできるかのように序列をひっくり返せるかを表現できます。単に負ける外されるではなく、イス取りゲームのようなニュアンスが出ます。from the starting 11や from his place のようにどこから押しのけるかをセットで言うことが多いです。移籍や新加入の話でも品質で、戦力図の変化を短く説明できる便利な言葉です。日本語では、先発の座を奪う、 押しのけるが自然です。
Because I don't think Tanaka's gonna dislodge either of them two. Because I don't think Tanaka's gonna dislodge either of them two, which we may well do with Buonanotte coming in.
may well do は十分あり得る、可能性が高いという意味の表現です。may だけよりも角度が高く、結構起こりそうというニュアンスになります。川解説では、先発予想や戦術変更の話で品質です。断定はしないけれど、現実的だと感じているときに便利です。日本語では、十分あり得ます。可能性は高いです。と訳すと自然です。断言を避けつつ説得力を出せる、解説向きのフレーズです。
Which we may well do with Buonanotte coming in. Maybe he gets back into the fold and
get back into the fold は、仲間の輪に戻る、再びチームの一員として扱われるという表現です。サッカーでは怪我明けや序列が下がった選手が、また構想に戻るときに使われます。復帰するよりも、監督の信頼やチーム内の位置づけが戻るニュアンスが出ます。逆に out of the fold は、構想から外れる、輪からはずれるという意味になります。今回の文脈なら、ロングスタッフが戻ると田中碧の序列が下がるという流れに合います。日本語では、戦力として戻る、構想に戻ると訳すと自然です。単語のフォールドは、オルではなく、仲間の輪という比喩だと覚えるのがコツです。
maybe he gets back into fold and that's sort of a bit of pill to swallow, isn't it?
A pill to swallow は、受け入れがたい現実、飲み込みづらい事実という意味の定番表現です。薬は口で飲み込みにくいことが多いので、その感覚を比喩にしています。サッカーでは、負けたことやベンチに回ることなど、納得しづらい現実を語るときによく出ます。単に不満を言うよりも、現実を受け止めるニュアンスが出るのがポイントです。日本語では、飲み込みづらい現実、受け入れにくい話が自然です。会話でも使いやすいので、覚えておくと表現の幅が広がります。
And that's sort of a bit of pill to swallow, isn't it? And that's sort of a bit of pill to swallow, isn't it?
いかがでしたか？田中碧をもともとは評価していたし、今も評価しているものの、実際にこれだけ使われないと、使われない理由があるのではないかとさえ疑っている様子ですね。実際には、チームは勝ち点を期待以上に積み上げており、ライバルたちのパフォーマンスに不満がほとんどなく、むしろ期待以上のパフォーマンスもしていることも多く、この移籍市場では、最も売る価値が高そうであり、今の待遇を考えると、移籍してしまいそうな選手として、一番に名前が上がるような状況でもあることから、そもそも絶対に先発に入るべきなのに入っていない状況なのか、そもそも自分たちが期待しすぎた、持ち上げすぎた、だけなのではないかと、自分自身に疑問を投げかけているようにも感じます。実際には、先発に入るべき実力があり、結果も出しているものの、試合になかなか出られないのは、ファルカの戦術や考え方によるものなのは明白で、少子、個人的には移籍する絶好の状況とも言える気がしますが、実際により良いチームからの、それなりのオファーがないといけないですし、そこまでのオファーがないということだろうとも感じますので、このリーズファンが言うように、試合に出なければ自分の価値も上げづらく、他のチームが獲得したいと思わせるチャンスも少なくなるということですから、ただ我慢してプレーする以外なさそうですが、間違いなくプレーするチャンスも、移籍するチャンスもあると思うので、ただただ良いパフォーマンスを続けてほしいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。